There we are. Welcome to my Tuesday night call. I am Dr. Jeff. We do this every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for giving me 45 minutes of your time tonight to talk about everything LifeVantage. I know a lot of you come on my call every Tuesday night. I do try to change it up a little bit. For those of you that know me, you know that I love to tell stories. I will try to keep the stories to a minimum because I do really want to pay close attention to the time and do not want to waste your time tonight. But one thing I am starting is something a little bit new. I always want to mix it up a little bit. So I'm going to start always now with a quote. My second screen is going to be a quote. And this quote actually came from our global convention. Kelly Girardi is an astronaut. She was the third woman ever to go into space. And one of her quotes from the stage was, "I am not lucky. I just failed more times than you've tried." I know there's probably people on this call that this is, rings a bell for, because I know even with me, I have friends that have joined LifeVantage with me that said, "Oh, geez, I don't know why you always catch the lucky breaks." And it's not lucky breaks. I just have failed more times. I've been failed in a couple network marketing ventures, and I've been successful in a couple, but I think I've just tried more. Before we get started, I always want to go over our disclosure statements. First disclosure talk is a disclosure about money. You make what you earn. If you go in full force, you go in full time, you're running this as your own business, you can make business money. You can make more than business money. If you work at part-time, you're working as a part-time gig, similar to driving Uber, delivering pizza, working a part-time job at night, then you're going to make that kind of money. And then the second is the products that we're going to talk about initially tonight. The products are considered supplements. They're actually activators, and we'll talk about what that means. But none of the products are intended to cure, treat, prevent, or mitigate any diseases. They are health-based products. They are going to make you more healthy. And if you do follow me, this is Activated with Dr. Jeff is on Facebook. And then on Instagram, I go by the Dr. Jeff Effect. And you will hear me talk about taking control back of your own healthcare destiny. One of the biggest problems that we have in America today is the fact that we do not have a healthcare system. We have what I like to refer to as a sick care system. A doctor will see you for your illness, and he will give you a big pharma prescription for your illness, but he has no interest in making you healthy. A healthy patient is a lost patient. Lost patient is lost revenue. So they want to keep you sick and keep you on big pharma drugs. This is me, board certified in orthopedic surgery, practiced 30 years so far. In 2009, I decided to get out of conventional orthopedics and get into regenerative orthopedics and look more at an anti-aging wellness approach. I do have interest in 3 different med spas here in Florida that I work as an owner operator. I have nurse practitioners in all those locations that actually see the patients. I just work mostly as a mentor now for those doctors. As I said, this now is my primary business. LifeVantage is where I've gone all in. I've been part of LifeVantage now since July of last year. I'll be honest, I said no twice. I loved the products when I looked at them, but at 62 years old, I didn't think I wanted to do this again. I had 2 great runs. I had a run in Montevilla, a run in Visalis, did well in both of those companies, had some really bad runs after leaving Visalis, and thought that I never really wanted to put all the time and effort into building a team. But once I heard that we had a natural activator for GLP-1, and I have been heavy all my life, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, I knew this was something that could possibly change the world. It could be the paradigm shift for weight loss. And so I decided to get in, and I decided to jump in the deep end with both feet and really get involved. When we talk about LifeVantage, we talk about it as the activation company. And I think it's very important to understand this next few seconds of phrases that I'm going to use. Activation. Why is activation different from supplements? If you look down the line of products, you see on the far left, you see the daily essentials. Well, those are supplements. Those are vitamins and minerals that you take that will supplement something that's deficient in your body. If you're low in vitamin D, you take vitamin D as a supplement. If you're low in magnesium and you're having problems sleeping at night, you can take magnesium as a supplement. But the products that LifeVantage is known for, the products that LifeVantage started with in 2005 are activation products. What does that mean? It means that you're not taking a supplement. We're not taking a supplement for an antioxidant. We're not taking a supplement for collagen or for GLP-1. We're taking small little building blocks that are able to activate our own systems in the body, our own genetic pathways to build the products that we need. We're going to talk more about that. That science is called nutrigenomics, and it started back in the 1990s. It was something called the Human Genome Project that was published in 2003. And as I said, LifeVantage started very shortly after that in 2005. A lot of the big people, a lot of the big investors in the world, people like Jeff Bezos and Larry Page, they're trying to start their own activation companies, their own nutrigenomic products, but they haven't brought any products to market yet. And at LifeVantage, we like to use the hashtag, we take it to make it. We empower our bodies to make the antioxidants, to make the collagen, to make the GLP-1, all for better health. We are taking care of our own healthcare destiny. And that's unusual. Our doctors don't want to do it, so it's up to us to do it. People will ask me, well, are these anti-aging products? Now, do you have an anti-aging product? And I tell them, no, we do not have an anti-aging product. We have truly the anti-aging product. And I'll tell you why I say this. It all started in 2005, and it started with our flagship product, which is called Protandim NRF2. Protandim NRF2 is an antioxidant. It can lower oxidative stress, which is cellular aging and cellular death, 40% in 30 days. So it can stop your cells from dying too young. And this piqued interest all over the world in universities. There are 32 validated studies on PubMed just about our Protandim NRF2 study. John Quiones, that's in the picture, is still with ABC News. He initially started this piece as a hit piece against LifeVantage, saying that the products didn't work. But he started on the products, and then his doctor said, overall, your blood work looks like you're healthier. Maybe there's something to this product. And he started to investigate and found out that it really does slow the aging process. What does it do? Well, it activates something in our body. Remember that we are the take it to make it product. So we take Protandim NRF2, small little building blocks that can make the key antioxidant in our body, something called SOD, or superoxide dismutase. And we can raise superoxide dismutase by 40% in just 30 days. So that decreases the mortality of our cells, decreases cell death, and slows the aging process. There are 220 diseases. So if you go on to PubMed, and anybody can do that, and you put in diseases and oxidative stress, and you look through the list of over 100,000 articles, you will see that there are about 220 diseases that are linked to oxidative stress. And these are the diseases that can be prevented by being on a strong antioxidant. Now, there are other antioxidants out there, and the one I like to talk about is organic blueberries. If you eat a pint of organic blueberries, and I priced them just yesterday, $6.89 at Publix Supermarket in Florida here, for a pint of organic blueberries. So if you would eat 1 pint of organic blueberries will neutralize 7,000 free radicals. 1 molecule of superoxide dismutase will neutralize 1 million free radicals. So if you can upregulate superoxide dismutase by 40% in 30 days, that is the equivalent of neutralizing 18 trillion free radicals every single day. So think what that would do to the promotion of health and to decrease your risk of some of these disease processes that are associated with oxidative stress. The second take it to make it we came out with is something called liquid collagen. Liquid collagen is the take it to make it collagen activator. It can increase type 1 collagen production by 100% in 8 weeks. So it's doubling your production of type 1 collagen. So when I first looked at this, and I think Lindy Ritsu's on the call tonight. Lindy is the person that signed me into LifeVantage. She was persistent, and I thank God she was, because if she wasn't persistent, I wouldn't be in LifeVantage, and I probably wouldn't be as healthy as I am today. And we'll talk about that in about another 10 minutes. But liquid collagen, when I first looked at it, I looked at it as a beauty product because I saw the advertisements and I saw the brochures. Beautiful women with less fine lines and wrinkles, men with less wrinkles around their eyes. But here's what I found out. I'm an ex-football player. I played 4 years in high school, 4 years in college, 2 years in the NFL. My knees were shot. And I've had knee pain probably for the last 20 years. I also had knee pain because I was probably about 100 pounds overweight. But as I started taking the Protandim and the liquid collagen, which we now have found out work synergistically. So if you take them both, they are better at upregulating antioxidants and they are better at promoting more collagen. If you take them together, the articular cartilage in our joints is specifically mostly type 1 collagen. So if we can increase that type 1 collagen by 100% in 8 weeks, it helps with joint pain. There's also collagen in our blood vessels. There's collagen in our brain. There's collagen in our eyes. And yes, there is collagen in our skin. So if you look at this beautiful lady, this is 30 days. Pay attention to the crow's feet area around her eyes. Significantly softened, less fine lines and less wrinkles. If we go to the next one, we look at same thing with the man in the lower left-hand corner of the slide, same lady in the middle. And then the lady on the right-hand side that I initially called BS. When I saw this slide back in July or August, I said, nah, she's had to have something done. Little tummy tuck, maybe some procedures done with laser to tighten up that. All done with liquid collagen, Protandim, and a little bit more exercise at the gym. You can look at her abdominal muscles. You can see they're a little bit tighter, especially between day 1 and the 8-month period. But mostly that skin tightening is from our products. We do have some skincare products. We have the True Renew line. We have the cranberry colored, which is True Renew Firming Complex. It is an alternative to retinol. I don't know if anybody on this call has ever taken retinol, but retinol is, it causes some redness of the skin. It causes some flakiness of the skin. When we use retinol in our aesthetics practices, we have our patients put it on at night and then moisturize really well in the morning to take care of the redness and the flakiness. Well, this works as well as retinol without the side effects, without the redness, without the peeling. It attacks 11 different visual signs of aging and can actually firm your skin and smooth your skin in 21 days. I do not use the True Renew. My wife loves the True Renew. We are kind of sun worshipers. Our happy place, we've had a hard week or a rough day, we'll go to the beach and sit on the beach. We're about an hour from the beach, so we'll go sit on the beach and watch the waves and listen to the waves, listen to some good beach music, something like Jimmy Buffett or Jack Johnson. And we love that. So she always got some wrinkles kind of in her décolleté area. She's been using the True Renew on that area. Absolutely loves it. She uses it on her face as well. I have more of a moisturizing problem. So I use the green vial that is similar to this, the True Renew moisturizer cream. I use that as my daily moisturizer. We all should be on a daily moisturizer. Here's some fine lines and wrinkles around the eyes again. The second lady, the one on the right, look at just the plumpness of her cheeks. It looks like she had work done. It looks like maybe she had filler put in or maybe some Botox. This is all natural. It is just from the True Renew products. So we talked about we can activate our superoxide dismutase for antioxidants. We can activate our liquid collagen, increase type 1 collagen, help with knee pain, help with fine lines and wrinkles. We have a cosmetic line, a skincare line for firmness and hydration. We could also activate our brains. I actually have my Axio. I have just become addicted. I'm going to take a drink because I talk so fast and I'm so emotional that I always get hoarse by the end of these calls. This is the peach nectarine that was released at our global convention. Non-caffeinated, but it still gives you that little buzz. It has a lot of brain activators. It increases neurotransmitters, helps with mental clarity, helps with brain power and mood. Here's a personal story. I told you in the beginning I like to tell stories. I'm gonna tell a story about my son Brian. My son Brian, I met Brian when he was about 9 years old. Jennifer's his mom, and we became a family after that. Jennifer and I have been together 10 years. Brian's going to turn 21 here in about another couple days, tomorrow, I guess, right? The 21st. So Brian turns 21 tomorrow. We had his party over the weekend. But Brian had been on the ADHD medication since about age 13 or 14. And when he turned 20, so about a year ago, he came to us, mainly me initially, and said, I don't like the way these medicines are making me feel. And I said, well, at 21, you're 20 years old, you're probably starting to increase your testosterone levels even more. Between the testosterone and the medication, I can see he was saying that he would go to work and about halfway through his shift, he'd start getting a little angry, a little, edgy and stuff. And he said, I don't like that. I'm going to yell at somebody. I'm going to get in trouble at work. He has a management position in food service at a restaurant. He's been there about 4 years. And I told him, I said, you know what? Try this new product. We had just gotten into LifeVantage right at this time. And so he would take one before work. He'd bring one with him and put in his bottle of water around halfway through his shift, around 5 or 6. And he said that it helps him as much as his prescription ADHD medication. And I really didn't believe it at first. And, I thought maybe he was just trying to tell me stories to make me feel better about my products. He's been taking it twice a day, every day for the last year. And really, we just talked to him at his birthday party on Sunday about it. He said, yeah, it really works. He said, I really would not want to go without it. Still trying to talk him into getting in the business with me, but I don't think he's quite ready yet. So what else can we activate? We talked about our brains. We talked about our skin. We talked about our collagen in our joints. We talked about antioxidants. But here's the big one. Here's the big thing that we can activate. It was released in October 12th. It was released at a meeting in Kansas City. We had a national market meeting in Kansas City, and they announced the release of the product, the mind-body GLP-1 system. And it's actually the weight loss system that broke the internet. Why do I say it broke the internet? Because as soon as we announced it, people were going online trying to buy it, and all of a sudden the website shut down. There was too much activity on the website, and it was showing 30 to 40 hour waits to be able to buy the product. The company thought that they had a supply that was going to last about 8 weeks. They had 50,000 units sold out in 13 days. Is weight loss an issue? Absolutely an issue in the United States. We'll talk about stats in a minute. Here's the issue. The issue is, and like I said, I've been a big guy all my life. I graduated 8th grade at about 200 pounds. I graduated high school at 265. My playing weight through college and through the NFL was about 285. So I understand the obesity issue, but I didn't understand how big it was until I joined LifeVantage last July. So what is the mind-body GLP-1 system? It is a system that helps control your relationship with food. It stops that toxic cycle of emotional eating and diet culture, and it gives you the control back. I've come to realize that we know already that obesity is a long-term problem. We have never had a long-term solution. I've tried every one of the short-term solutions. I've tried fen-phen. I've tried the cabbage soup diet. I've tried HCG, Atkins, keto, carnivore, low calorie, Weight Watchers. If there's been a diet, I've tried it. Watermelon diet, believe it or not, that was a thing, I don't know, 20 years ago. All you ate was watermelon. And so what would happen is I would lose weight. I would work out like a crazy at the gym too, losing weight. As soon as I tapered off, or as soon as I stopped the diet, the weight came back on. Why? Because we were never addressing GLP-1. So what happened recently? Well, not also recent, 6 years ago, Big Pharma said, we have a GLP-1 product. We have a GLP-1 hormone in a syringe. Once a week, you're going to give yourself a poke in the abdominal wall, and you're going to inject yourself with GLP-1 hormone. So what are they finding out? Well, they're finding out that it's not a long-term answer, that once you go off the product in the first 8 weeks, you regain about 20% of the weight. If you lost 80 pounds, you're going to put 16 to 20 on in the first 2 months after stopping it. In the first year, the National Institute of Health has shown now that in the first year, 90% of the people will put on 66% of their weight. So it's not a long-term answer. It's a short-term answer and a cash grab for Big Pharma, because now Big Pharma can have you on it a year, off of it for a year, back on it for a year, back off of it for a year. But what does GLP-1 does? It crushes cravings. It slows digestion, makes you feel full longer. It stops that cycle of emotional eating. When you eat because you're sad, because you're happy, because you're celebrating at a birthday party, because you had a bad day at work, but not eating because you're hungry. It crushes the cravings. I was addicted to Oreos. Um, Once again, going back to my son, Brian has a dairy allergy. So we've always had Oreos in the house. Oreos do not have dairy in them. And so I would go past the pantry 3 or 4 times a day and grab a couple Oreos, not because I needed them, but because I wanted them. Maybe I was having a tough day. Maybe it was mid-afternoon and I needed that snack or whatever. But if you're eating 8 Oreos a day, that's not eating for food, that's eating for emotion. And so I've not had an Oreo since starting the product on October 12th. So what is GLP-1? GLP-1 is glucagon-like peptide 1. It's a natural occurring hormone that's made in the digestive tract. It's made in something called the L cells of the digestive tract, in the lining of the gut. And it decreases appetite, it slows down digestion, and it helps regulate sugar. What happens is when we eat, our glucose levels go up and insulin goes up to push glucose in the cells. When the glucose gets in the cells and our insulin levels drop and our glucagon levels go up, when glucagon goes up, we get hungry. Glucose is released from the liver in the form of stored glucose, which is called glycogen, and that causes us to get hungry, causes insulin or glucose spikes, and then insulin spikes, and it throws that whole cycle off. So what GLP-1 does is it blocks glucagon. So now we don't get hungry as often. We stay fuller longer. That's why it works. But even more miraculously, there's GLP-1 receptors elsewhere in the body. There's GLP-1 receptors that protect our heart, which the big pharma studies have shown that in patients that are diabetic, remember that's where these drugs started, was for diabetes, that their incidence of heart disease and heart attack went down when they were on the drug. There's GLP-1 receptors in the brain, in the pleasure center of the brain. So now we can down-regulate that pleasure center. So we're not eating for pleasure, we're eating because we're hungry. And it's interesting, they're showing now in studies that some of the addiction doctors are using the GLP-1 medications, including the Mind Body products, to help with drug, alcohol, and nicotine addiction. There's GLP-1 receptors in our liver, in our kidneys. So this is protective overall, not just for weight loss, but an overall wellness and anti-aging product that truly you can stay on forever. So when they put this slide up at the convention in Kansas City back in October, I took a picture of it because I wanted to reuse it for a slide, and then the company gave us their slides, so it's all good. But they did a 12-week clinical study, a human clinical trial, before they actually released it for general sale. And so this went on from July, when they announced the product, to October. And they were able to increase GLP-1 levels by 140% in that 12 weeks. They repeated the study just recently, and they found out that in the second 12-week study, those numbers went up to increase GLP-1 by 200%. Average people lost about 9 pounds in 8 weeks, and by 12 weeks, 25 pounds. So 2 pounds a week. So that means in a year, you could lose 100 pounds if you needed to. 100% of the people in the study did not lose any muscle. The big pharma drugs admit to a 17 to 25% muscle loss. Which means if you lose 80 pounds, you're losing up to 20 pounds of muscle. You're less heavy, but you're less healthy. Remember, more muscle means more metabolism. 82% of the people that filled out the survey at the end of the study thought they took back their relationship with food, and 95% had a decrease in sugar cravings. So I talked about my journey. Well, here's proof of my journey. That is at the 18-week mark. That is when I'm down 42 pounds. As of this morning, I'm down 72 pounds in about 7 months. So you can see my before and after, much healthier looking guy. Even at 72 pounds down, believe it or not, I'm still considered obese. The lady on the right-hand side, the thing I look at are the rolls under her bra top, both from the front and the back. On the front, if she arched her back a little, sucked it in a little bit, she could fake that. But the back rolls, she can't suck those in. That's real weight loss. And so you can see it both on the male and the female side. So why is this a big issue? Because right now in the United States, 82% of adults are managing their weight. The obesity rate in the United States right now, overall 42%. We have 5 states that are pushing 50%. We have 5 states that are above 49%. West Virginia is the highest, most obese state in the country at 49.8%. The Deep South, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana come in second, third, and fourth. There's 120 million people in the United States actively trying to lose weight. 3 out of 5 complain of exhaustion and low energy. They're taking naps in the afternoon. 43% experience chronic pain, mostly back, hips, and knees. And 62% are already using an anti-aging product. So my question is why do you not want to be involved? If you're not involved, you have to think about what's happening in our country and what's happening worldwide. We have the same problems in Australia, New Zealand. We have the same problems in the Philippines. Different reasons in some of those countries, but still a huge problem with obesity and wellness. The reason that we're seeing it in the United States is because it truly is a vicious cycle. We're gaining weight at an alarming rate. We eat more high processed foods. That leads to more free radicals. More free radicals leads to more oxidative stress. More oxidative stress means we downregulate the hormones responsible for metabolism. These are hormones like thyroid hormone and testosterone, estrogen, human growth hormone, and GLP-1. That leads to more obesity. More obesity leads to more free radicals, leads to more oxidative stress. You see, you can't get off the carousel. The carousel keeps going around, but we can't get off. When I looked at the company back in July, when it was presented to me, like I said, I initially said I didn't want to do it. And then I started looking at, somebody whispered into my ear, a little birdie came to me and whispered in my ear, hey, we're releasing a GLP-1 product. We're going to announce the release in 4 days. You need to do this. And I decided to get in and be part of it. But I also looked at the company. In network marketing, there's a lot of companies that come and go. LifeVantage isn't one of them. 20 years of manufacturing experience in the health and wellness market, in the activation market. They're the first nutrigenomic company to bring products to the market in 2005. They're debt-free and financially stable. That's their headquarters just south of Salt Lake City in Utah. They've sold over $2 billion in products. They're publicly traded on NASDAQ. Since the release of the GLP-1 product, their stocks are up since October. So it's considered a stock to buy in the healthcare sector. So why LifeVantage? Well, follow the trends. We can follow the healthcare trends. The feeling good, the wellness industry is a $1.5 trillion industry. The network marketing industry, ZipRecruiter looked at network marketers and found the average network marketer, if they're doing it full time as a full-time job, can make about $82,000 a year. That boils down to about $40 an hour. So it is an industry that you can take health and wellness and network marketing and merge them together. Also look at the trends that are going on in the obesity realm. I already talked about we have 5 states that are pushing 50%. Well, the National Institute of Health said by 2030, there will be 29 states, more than half the country will have a 50% obesity rate. What does that mean? It means that we're getting worse and worse as far as obesity, worse and worse according to our health and wellness, and we're going to start dying younger. So we need to take control of that now. And we have products that will do it. The combination of Protandim to decrease oxidative stress and the GLP-1 mind-body product to help with obesity. We have 2 great products. The obesity market, the #1 selling drug in the United States in 2023, Ozempic. #1 selling drug in the United States. It beat out insulin. Insulin was #2. And the GLP-1 market right now in 2023, $38 billion. By 2031, anywhere from $138 to $200 billion. It's growing, and this is going to be part of it. The FDA is already clamping down on the compounding pharmacies that were making it. So people are going to need these products. We talk about with LifeVantage to get in where you fit in. I'm going to talk a little bit about the business, but everybody that knows me knows that I really talk more about the products. But I have to cover the business because the business is important. There's people out there that are struggling. There are very few one-income families anymore. Almost every family, mom and dad, has to work. So if you think about that, this is a way to make ends meet. This is a way to bring in some extra income. Maybe mom can stay home with the kids and work this as a part-time job. It's something that's available. But maybe you just want to get in for your health. Maybe you just want to buy the products. So you can share the products. You can talk to your family and friends about it, and you can earn up to 40% in commission. Just sharing the products with your family and friends. You don't have to do the talks. You can invite people to my Tuesday night talk. Hey, let's hop on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, listen to Dr. Jeff talk about the products, talk about the business. You get customer sales profit. You get personal bonuses. Right now, there's a way to have your double bonuses in the first 90 days. There's fast track bonuses. But maybe you want to do more. Maybe you want to do more than share. Maybe you want to build and grow a team. Maybe you want to get some doctors involved, some nurse practitioners involved, massage therapists, personal trainers. Maybe you have somebody on the internet that's an influencer. You want to get them involved. So yeah, you can build and grow a team. If they do that, you can go down 9 levels. So think about that. If you get in and you put in 3 people, and each of them put in 3 people, and each of them put in 3 people, and you go down 9 levels, that's 7,000 people on your team, all by just putting in 3. So you can build a team and you can get commissions down to 9 levels. But maybe you want to do more. When I was exposed to this in July, what I thought was, my patients need this. The doctors that I've worked with in the past, that I've trained in other procedures, that are doing weight loss, their patients need this. So I truly want to start a movement. What do I mean a movement? Well, the Dr. Jeff effect is a movement. It's a movement to take control of your own healthcare destiny. It's a movement to talk to doctors about, to promote wellness, to look not at a patient as an illness, but look at the patient as a whole and help them get well. Look at what the root cause of disease is. So that was the movement that I wanted to start. So I started a movement. I put a lot of my doctor friends on my team. And once you get to certain levels in the company, then the company says, well, we're going to reward you for starting a movement. We're going to give you leadership match and leadership pool, where we're going to take part of our profit, part of the company's profits, and we're going to share them with our leadership. And you can make decent money doing that. You can make better than doctor money if you lead a movement. This looks at some of our average commissions. I mean, even at the beginning, consultant 3, senior consultant 1, It's an extra $54 a month. That's a tank of gas. But as you move up, get up to managing consultant one, maybe an extra $1,700 to $2,000 a month, extra $25,000 a year. Well, that's maybe a couple car payments, or maybe that's part of your rent, or maybe that's a car payment and all of your utilities. But then as you get up to the executive consultant levels, now we're looking at $15,000 a month, $25,000 a month, $88,000 a month. That's a month. We have somebody that sometimes does these calls with me, Rachel Picaric, and Tara Wilson. Both have done calls with me. And a lot of times they'll talk about the comp plan. They'll talk about the business side. And Rachel has said, well, at a presidential consultant level at $137,000 a month average, that's doctor money. Well, I'll tell you what, I was a practicing orthopedic surgeon. That's more than doctor money. I don't think I ever brought home $137,000 a month as a practicing physician. Way more. That's influencer money. That's Hollywood money. That's LifeVantage presidential consultant money. But like I said, maybe you don't want to go that far. Maybe you just need to make ends meet. Maybe you just want to have extra grocery money. Maybe you're a lady and you just want to have extra money to spoil yourself with your friends, to go get a manicure or a pedicure. You can do that as well. You can get in where you fit in, and you can grow the business as much as you can. We also get some adventures. We also get some little perk bonuses that we can work for every year. I get to go on the Alaska incentive trip. Lindy's going as well. Some people from my team are going in August. I just got back from Growth Summit, which is where we get to go meet with people that are at the same level of us in the company, and we get to meet with corporate, and we get to learn from everybody. Amazing event. If you go to my YouTube channel, which is also the Dr. Jeff Effect, you'll see some videos that I shot at Growth Summit, where they were just interviews between me and some of the other attendees, and I talk about weight loss and collagen in the knees and things like that. Our executives just got back from the executive destination, which this spring was South Africa for our safari. Next spring, and I'm hoping I'm going to be there, is going to be Thailand. So just some basics. If you want to get in and you want to jump in like I did, both feet in the deep end, and build your own big business, $999 is the biggest package we have. That's the business builder pack, or the business enrollment pack. It's one of every product that the company makes. Speaking of products, I gotta take a drink of my Axio. I literally, when I'm done with these calls, I go in the house and I sit and I can't talk for an hour. You also get 2 tickets to the next big event. Next big event is Market Connect in Dallas in October. So you get 2 free tickets to that. You get your own website, your own back office, your own tools. It gives you the perfect plan to start your own business. And then with Activated Affiliate, which is our new program for Team Heart, then now you have all the back office stuff. You have a plan to build, you have a plan to grow. You have emails, you have email funnels, you have click stuff from Canva for social media posting, all available on the Activated Affiliate site. Maybe $9.99 is too much. When I started my medical practice, my all-in at the end of medical school, if you count the $400,000 that I was in debt for my tuition for medical school, my all-in was about $1 million to start my practice. You can start your own business here for $999. Maybe $9.99 is too much. Maybe $489 gives you our top 6 products, gives you Axio, Pro Tandem, Liquid Collagen, True Renew Firming Complex, everything that we talked about tonight, the mind body products. Maybe that's too much. So maybe we want to go down to $349. Our top 3 products, mind body, Pro Tandem, Liquid Collagen. Gives you some to take for yourself, maybe some that you want to share with family and friends. But you can start your own business for just $350. And there's a lot of mentors, myself and some of the executives and presidentials in Team Heart, that will help you. We'll be side by side, locking arms to help you build your business. So get in where you fit in. Whoever invited you to this meeting, go ahead and get a hold of them. Don't wait till tomorrow. Text them, message them on Facebook, pick up the phone, give them a call. but get back to them tonight and tell them where you want to get in. Maybe you just want to buy for your health. Maybe you just want to be a customer. That's great. Get healthy for your family. But maybe you want to lock arms with me and you want to help me build this movement to help people take back control of their healthcare destiny. That's what I have for you tonight. I kept it under 45 minutes. That's my goal. This is the end of the call. I love each and every one of you. Most of you know how to find me. You can find me if you go to Facebook, find Dr. Jeff or Jeff Picciarello, my whole name. Send me a message on Messenger. Send me a friend request. I'll be more than happy to talk to you anytime. But this call is a wrap. Love you guys. Have a great week and good night.